Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I am continuing the Blade series with Blade 2. Blade 2 obviously is a sequel. It came out in 2002. This time it's directed by Guillermo del Toro. And the plot is we are still following Blade, being a badass like only Wesley Snipes can, killing vampires left and right. He saves his old mentor Whistler from being a vampire. But then he gets reluctantly recruited by this group of vampires because they're so desperate. Blade is teaming up with vampires to kill off this new breed of another level of vampires who are going around killing their own kind, and they're going to slowly take over the world. Now, what I think of Blade 2 is, once again, I really enjoy this film. I do. It's hard to say whether or not I like this more than the first one. I think the first one is very unique and different and introduces a lot of cool concepts with this character, so it's hard. But this one definitely ups the ante, ups the action, ups the stakes. So in that sense, it's bigger, it's badder. And Guillermo del Toro as a director is somebody who I respect. I might not love his movies like other people do, but I've always respected him as a visionary, as a guy who can give you some insane visuals. His imagination is unlike anyone else, and he brings that with this movie, but also not making it too far removed from what we saw in the first film. Wesley Snipes, what more can I say about this dude playing the Blade character?
You obviously do not know who you are fucking with.
I have to admit that seeing Whistler come back from the dead, seemingly, is a little, I don't know how to feel about it. Look, I really like Kris Kristofferson. I do. And I like the Whistler character as far as his relationship with Blade. He was very important. I would look at it as you shouldn't have killed him off in the first movie. You shouldn't have done that if you really wanted to have him here. Now, who knows? You have different directors, probably different writers. To a point, I know David Goyer has been involved in all of these movies, but you have so many other creative people involved. Who knows whose decision it was to bring Whistler back? In some ways, I understand it, but in other ways, maybe you should have just left him dead. You have a brand new tech guy, and you have so many more new characters that if you're just going to go forward, then go forward. Look, the way they bring him back isn't the biggest, out of the realm of possibility. I've definitely seen a lot worse. Him being bitten and scratched up by the vampires in the first movie, and then him shooting himself, you could just say that didn't work, and that he was still changing, and that he's just a vampire now, and then Blade cures him. In a roundabout way, it makes sense. I just still don't know how to feel about it. When I say that Blade has a new tech guy, I'm talking about this character, Scud, who is played by Norman Reedus. Yes, Daryl from The Walking Dead. It's actually cool to see him. He has built up this trust with Blade, and he's giving him gadgets that do feel more high-tech and more up-to-date. So you even have moments of him and Whistler just not trusting each other or not liking each other, or a little competition for Blade and his attention. So that was quite amusing. My only complaint, and this is a bit of a spoiler, but I need to talk about it. I don't like how they just make Norman Reedus the villain at the end, or one of the villains, or he was playing Blade this whole time. I just thought that twist came out of nowhere. You already had another big twist with the main plot that I didn't think you needed to do that to that character. If you wanted to keep Whistler and have him just be that role, you could have still had Norman Reedus be good and die by the end of this. That twist and how they dealt with him after that, I just thought was a little unnecessary. Now, Blade having to work with these vampires, these assassin-like vampires, I thought was cool. It was different. It was interesting on both ends because they don't like Blade. They've been training, actually, to kill Blade one day, and they're being forced to work with him. Blade, obviously, this is everything that he does. kill vampires. He hates vampires. He hates that side of him. So to be forced with working with these guys that he doesn't trust, him and his relationship with Ron Perlman and how they continuously go back and forth is so amusing. Ron Perlman is great. He's funny, but he's also a badass. He's able to balance that well. Pre-Hellboy. A female character, Nyssa. She's a born-bred vampire. And she's kind of the love interest for Blade. I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, she's okay. The actress is fine. But I think I just would have preferred them bring back the Karen character in the first movie. And if you want to make her the love interest this time around, I would even be all for that. Amongst the group, they're called the Blood Pack, this group of vampires that Blade's working with. You get Donnie Yen, who I forgot that was Donnie Yen. They kind of misuse him, or they don't use up his action enough. There's one scene where he uses a sword on one of these Reaper creatures, and the creature just like lets the sword cut him in half as he crawls up the wall. Very creepy. Matt Schultz, who is, I know him from the Fast and Furious movies, so it was kind of amusing to see him there. The main villain, though, Nomak, is, like I said, this new breed of vampire. The vampires look at them like it's a disease, like it's a virus, and when they bite you, you're contaminated. And the actor Luke Goss, I've never seen him in anything else before, at least I don't think so, but he looks very cool. The makeup on him is very scary to look at, and they tease you. It's not until maybe halfway through where you see their chin open up and this parasite tongue comes out, and it's gross, it's disgusting, but it's memorable, it's freaky, and there's so many scenes of like them in the sewer, of them just crawling all around, and them how they gang up on you in packs. It's scary. This is the most horrific of the Blade movies as far as like being a horror movie. The action is amped up, like I said. There's a lot more CGI use here because the technology is getting to that point. In 2002, I'm not saying CGI was at its best, because it wasn't, but for some reason, and I'm not going to really get into why I think it is, but the CGI on Blade when he's jumping out of windows or when he's jumping up, and he's obviously a CGI character because no man can do the things that he's doing, but the CGI on Blade looks better than it would, let's say, a white character. It just, for some reason, the CGI with him, it works better, it flows better, it's a lot more seamlessly than it probably should be. This movie is very fun, very enjoyable. I almost forget how much I enjoy Blade 2. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Blade 2? Do you like it as much as I do? Is it one of your go-tos? Is it your favorite of the Blade movies? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!
Got a golden mind, can't stop till I reach that the gold is mine. No feet up, seat back, music, I breathe that, sleep that, eat that. Ease back is pretty close, leading the pack, cause it is like snacks, a little to hold you over light work to me, but opponents under a bull.